Archfiend, the angry Snow White. In a far off land, a princess was born. All who saw her were drawn in by her captivating eyes. Large and round, they shone with the brilliance of diamonds. But their beauty filled her mother with anxiety, for the queen prided herself on being the fairest in the land. Once grown, she knew this girl would be more beautiful than even she. And so a petty jealousy grew within the queen's breast each time she met her daughter's eyes. In the throes of envy, she even considered murder. But no, she couldn't. She loved her daughter, as any mother would. But more than that, she had a reason far less noble. The sight of her own face reflected in those innocent eyes. She would stare at them and lose track of time. The image in her daughter's eyes was more vivid than any mirror, and few women admired themselves more than the queen. Choosing the right mirror had long been an obsession, and soon no other would do. She grew to love her daughter not as a child, but an object. Despite her jealousy, she could never part with her perfect mirror. As the princess aged, the queen's fears came to fruition. The girl's beauty grew each day. With it, her mother's envy. The queen wanted her gone, erased, but she couldn't kill her, knowing she'd never find a mirror so fine, knowing she'd lose those hours of basking in her own reflection. For a woman so vain, few things were harder to part with. Her daughter's existence marred her pride. The image in her eyes affirmed it. Caught in this dilemma, the queen heard a voice. Then a strange chalice stood before her. If you would have your wish, offer a sacrifice. She hesitated for a time, but as she regained her calm, a thought emerged. It was a thought unbecoming a mother, unbecoming anyone. She offered up her dear daughter, turning the girl's eye into a real mirror. With her more beautiful daughter gone, her pride was finally at ease, and only that intoxicating reflection now remained. The queen's vanity reached new heights. Claiming the princess had run away, the queen hid the mirror in her chambers. Day after day she posed this question to her former child. Who is the fairest of them all? The girl answered as she had been taught. Mother, in my eye. For years this routine continued, until the princess came of age, or would have, were she still human. Wiser now, she began to question her circumstances. Why was she not allowed outside? You see, she never realized she became a mirror. I want to see myself, she pled. But the queen gave no reply. With each day, the girl's doubts grew until they consumed her. It was then that she saw what her mother once had. If you would have your wish, the chalice began. She wished to see herself, badly enough to shout, badly enough, it seems, to offer her remaining eye in exchange. Her price paid. The apples that were to be her meal became mirrors. She peered into them, and she saw a monster. She now regretted her lost eye, for now she could not even weep at her fate. Her heart was broken, and she swore revenge upon the queen. Animated by that grim wish, the apples began to move. They were now apple dwarfs, each bearing a mirror. Vengeance came soon after. When the queen next peered into her eye, she was met with a cold, hard truth. Until then, in her love for her mother, The girl had shown the queen a younger, fairer version of herself, all to see her smile. But no longer. The princess felt no need to please her mother now. The mother showed a face carved with wrinkles. The queen shrieked and turned away. But a ring of apple doors circled her, brooking no escape. The queen's heart stopped. So the girl had vengeance. Yet the next moment, she felt tears well up at the mirror's edge. Even eyeless, she still found a way to weep. The loss of her mother was crushing. Despite her vanity, despite knowing she had never truly looked at her daughter, the queen still had been her mother. Even transfigured, the girl could not hate her mother. Those years of fond looks, even if the queen had seen only herself, were enough for the girl. Ever since the mirror princess had shown the image of her mother, as if to fill the void left by the woman's death.